Hello, welcome to Commsverse, everyone. This session is called Fuse2 and MITA Solutions, and we've got three great presenters for you. So over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Michael. Hi there, everybody. Pleasure to, well, I can't meet you, so it's just a one-way video, but hopefully there'll be some good Q&A sessions throughout the presentation. My name is Chris Blagg. I'm one of the directors here at Fuse2 Communications. During the next 30 minutes, I'm going to give you an overview on Fuse2 as a business, how we've evolved our business into direct routing for teams. And then I'm going to hand you over to our CTO, Wayne Mills-Kiddles, who's going to give you a bit of a technical overview on how we deploy these solutions, give you some demos on a portal. And then lastly, we're going to hand you over to Giovanni over at MITA, who are also presenting themselves within the whole Commsverse exhibition, but we use their solutions within our network to provide call center solutions to partners and end users as well. So he's going to give you a very brief overview on how that looks on a high level technical deployment, but then tomorrow at 10 p.m. UK time, we're going to have a lot more in-depth demonstration on our unique call center proposition. Okay, so I'll just move over to the first slide. So I'm just going to give you a very brief overview on Fuse2 and who we are. We are a completely independent voice carrier grade network based within the UK and across overseas as well. We've been operating around 4 years. We own and operate our own infrastructure using ribbon session border controllers across multiple data centers within the UK. And we've evolved a long way over the past 4 years. You know, the first 8 months or so, all we was doing was call center traffic. You know, it was just, let's just take whatever we can and away we go. But, you know, over the past 3 years, we've really upped our game in terms of staff, the quality of people we're bringing on board. As you can see from the screen there, we are an award-winning voice network via ITSPA. So the first time we ever applied for to be part of the ITSPA Awards in 2019, we was absolutely over the moon to get shortlisted, never mind to win it. You know, we turned up to the event proud just to be shortlisted, and we won the best ITSP 2019. So to be part of that particular organization, which work alongside Ofcom, is a real true testament to how we've evolved into being a well-recognized voice data provider, not just in the partner channel market within the UK, but direct as well. And then, you know, going into 2020, we've been shortlisted again for 3 more categories. The best vertical solution, I'll touch on that in a little bit more detail on the next slide. That relates to the education sector. Best ITSP again, small enterprise, and best wholesale. You know, I'd probably say about 80% of the business we do is via the channel. We work with some very high level Microsoft Gold partners within the UK who are absolutely on board with what we're trying to do with direct routing and providing that to their fantastic customer base. Okay, so I'll just move on to the next slide there. Wrong screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, so this is how we've kind of evolved our network into working with direct routing solutions. So as I mentioned at the start, you know, we had multiple different SBCs across different data centers for a number of years, and then boom, over the past 12 months, Teams just has really come to the forefront of pretty much every telecoms conversations that they're having. So we adapted to that. You know, we invested significant amounts of investment into a new virtual SBC deployment via NetAccess, who also had a session with you guys today, Trevor Davis. So we partnered up with NetAccess. We already had a fantastic relationship with those guys, but we have really invested into the future of Teams and direct routing and our whole network as a whole. You know, it's an absolutely fantastic platform. It enables us to do some very bespoke solutions for Teams, call forking, global UC solutions right across the world. So, you know, we're very much geared around there. And through our different peering exchanges that we have, we also sit pretty much on net with Microsoft through our links peering exchange. So when calls are deployed through Teams, they're handed over to our network privately. So it's a very clean, well managed, well monitored network. And we're deploying these type of solutions from all different scales of customers, whether it's a 5 user just having 2 or 3 channels, right up to huge enterprises, academies with 27 schools, different universities all over the country. We're currently speaking to the UK's largest utilities house, which are considering 3,500 concurrent calls. This is going to be a potentially 55,000 people rollout. So yeah, this is the type of business that we've evolved to over the past 4 years. It's quite mind-boggling when I've just explained it to you then from day one. So we have a fantastic partner portal as well, which Wayne can touch on in 2 minutes. So we're very much geared around working with partners, whether it's teams or any professional services to do with migrating into different Azure accounts to make sure everything sits on net with your own infrastructure. There's nothing real, there's nothing black and white. It's very much we'll throw ourselves out there and do deployments that are very new within the market. We've done quite a few bespoke solutions across the globe as well. We have various different global interconnects within our network. So this enables our global reach across 40 plus different countries. We can assign new DDIs in country. We can enable in-country breakout across these 40 plus countries. So wherever there's one 365 tenant for all these users, but they might have different sites all across the world. We can provide in-country breakouts to that country, so the call doesn't come back to the UK and then back out to the destination. It's localized to that country to provide localized call rates. So these are the type of solutions we're working on now, and they're just increasing more and more and more. Emergency services in country as well. There is a bit of an admin process behind that, guys, but we've got processes in place now to manage that application to enable these services for our customers that are operating across the world. We're also Ribbon's preferred UK service provider. So if you go to Ribbon with a direct inquiry, the chances are it'll be passed down to us at some point to speak to you guys and qualify it a little bit further. And anything that is missing within Teams, Teams is forever evolving in terms of telephony. The roadmap's very strong for Microsoft. I've seen it myself. It's forever evolving. They're taking it very seriously. But there are some key PBX features that aren't enabled within Teams as yet. And we can overlay these within our network, such as call center, which, Maida are here today to speak about that. And call recording as well. We can overlay our own call recording solution at network level. Very granular time of day routing policies we can do before it hits the Teams client. Okay, so these are my slides done now. I'm just going to hand you over to Wayne. Wayne is our CTO who designed the network from day one and developed this fantastic infrastructure we've got in place. And I'm going to hand you over to Wayne now. Thank you.
I think Michael needs to change the screen. Okay. Okay, am I sharing now, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, you're
Yep.
sharing.
Good. Okay, so let me just quickly get a few things on my screen for you guys. Bear with me. Okay, so just to give you a bit of a feel for how we deploy a direct routing solution. So there's a few different ways that can be achieved, and there's not always a one size fits all, which is why a lot of partners, direct customers like working with us. So, there's various customers which will prefer it to be done, for example, in their own Azure tenancy. That's something we can work with, so we can deploy SBCs directly in their Azure cloud. I would say 80% of customers like, to completely, give that to Fuse2 to manage. We would deploy that within our own cloud, and we've got various ways of making that resilient, either using multiple SBCs. We've got an advanced routing engine as well, again in multiple across multiple data centers, and that gives a very powerful resiliency for your call control, your inbound calls and your outbound calls. Once we've kind of worked out the type of solution you guys want, one of our engineers will sort of engage with your, with your team to deploy this in your 365 tenancy. So we'll give you access to all our cheat sheets. We've got various config guides. We've got Microsoft Teams PowerShell scripts, which automate a lot of this configuration. And we've also documented a lot of this as well. So, I'm not quite sure what level you guys are all at, but, adding an SBC into tenancy is very straightforward. Adding these to your users is very straightforward. And again, we've developed scripts which can automate this for you as well. You can simply just go on to your PowerShell, as long as you're sort of 365 admin, you can go on there, you can, we'll provide you all the commands, or one of our engineers will take control of a screen session and they will do all the, the hard work for you guys. So again, as you can see up the screen on here, we've got all, various different cheat sheets. Adding the the numbers, it's all documented. So again, we're going to take charge of that for you. Once that's added to your tenancy, you should then start seeing, and again, I'm not sure how many of you have sort of explored the Teams Admin Center, understand, but I'll give you a real quick whistle-stop tour what that looks like once that's added. But once you log into your admin's your Teams Admin Center, you then can drop down into your voice, and then under your direct routing, you're going to see a Teams SBC. At the minute, we've just got one SBC in the Fuse2 tenancy, but for example, some of our customers may have multiple SBCs in there. So for example, we've, like Chris mentioned earlier, with the international piece, we're seeing a lot of customers start, for example, we've got offices out in Singapore, may have offices in North America. We give them access to our different region SBCs, and that allows them calls to stay local within that region. It keeps the latency, at its lowest, rather than sort of bringing those calls all the way back to Europe to then send back to, Asia. That will kind of keep the calls, at the optimal latency and, call quality as well. And then we interconnect directly with local providers in them regions as well. And obviously we can provide all the additional services such as, emergency services, localized call termination, CLI guarantees, access to special dial numbers like, free phones, all sorts of special dial numbers that people need to access. So as we can see, we've got the visibility of the SBC. You can go into your SBC, and once you've got a few calls going through the SBC, you're going to see, how many concurrent calls, the network parameters, the latency, all that sort of stuff. Once you go into your users, you can drop into your users, you can look at historical calls, etc. So Microsoft Teams does give you a little bit of visibility of what's going on. And then, as you're probably aware, you've got various call control in the Teams admin section, call queues, auto attendance. You can assign various voice routing policies, give certain users access to premium rate numbers, international call-in. And again, if you need any help with that sort of stuff, one of our engineers, we can develop routing policies for you, which you can assign, to your business. Going above, beyond the Microsoft admin section, there's, you're going to look at wanting additional call control, such as time of day routing, the MIDA call center overlay. And again, we can touch on that later. Is it tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, 10 p.m. tomorrow, where we'll do more of an in-depth, kind of show you a demonstration of the MIDA call center, the supervisor login, the MIDA call recorder, etc. But I'll give you a bit of a overview of some of the call recording features that we've developed at Fuse2, which we can simply add. All we need to know is your sort of usernames or the DDI numbers, and we can add that so you can get call recording for your external calls, inbound or outbound. Let me just grab over. Just bear with me. did have. Okay, here we go. So we've got a simple call recorder. Once you log in, these are calls today. This is kind of an example of one of our users. You can see the usernames of the Microsoft username, the numbers they're dialing. You can just, you can listen to the call recording within the browser. There we go, it's just loading up. You can also listen to active calls. So this is right now, this is just one customer, and this shows you all their active calls, which are being recorded, and it allows you to sort of have a live listen on that as well. The map, you can, okay, I need to load the map data, but normally what you can see there is you'll be able to see all your active calls, the source and destination of where they are in the globe. And what we've developed for some customers is some of them have got strict requirements around data retention. So for example, this customer requires, so with AWS Bucket, allowing them to have that safely secured in a secure S3 bucket. We can then replicate this to their own S3 bucket using cross-region replication, and then this is continually monitored by our engineering teams. This is just to give you an example. Probably, techies, you're probably familiar with Grafana. This is just a simple sort of monitoring system we use just to make sure the data is going in there. Let's have a quick look. So here we go. So this is the one I was actually just showing you. This bucket here, and we can see all the data, is going in there, and it's been stored securely. So that's one overlay we can do quite quickly. We also provide access to more granular monitoring of the SBC. So if you do have your own custom SBCs that we might be spinning up in Azure, or if you've got your own private SBC on the Fuse2 cloud, we can also give you access to more enhanced monitoring. So as you can see on my screen, this is monitoring the SBC, shows the last 3 hours of the call quality. So we can see, the last three hours, everything has been over 4.3, which is a real, high-end call quality grading. Pretty much at the maximum. So we're not seeing any drops in, packet loss, latency, or jitter. Underneath there, we've got the SIP responses. So I think almost all of them are, 100% of them is almost 200 OKs, which is healthy SIP responses on calls. Obviously, we've got alerts which will detect if we're seeing, a lot of calls getting some sort of failure responses. We can act on that. Engineers will work with you guys and make sure you've set all them numbers up on your tenancy. We're going to have access to all that data. We've got all the alerts set up, so we're very proactive rather than sort of setting you up, leaving it, and kind of being blind. All of this is continually monitored 24/7, and also for sort of technical, the technical people within your organization who want access to this data, we can set them up as well. And again, this may or may not be relevant to all of you, depends if you're a partner, if you're a direct customer, but we also have access to a partner portal. This is our latest revision. There's a few elements in it which isn't quite functioning yet, so we've got another one which has got more functionality, but I just wanted to show you the newer version. The full live version, I think, is going to be in a couple of weeks' time. So as a partner or a direct customer, and what you can do, it's more powerful for a partner, but it allows you to go in there, buy, provision, and edit services you have on the Fuse2 network. So as a partner, you can go in. I'll just quickly just show up a partner which has got a lot of data. In there, they can place new orders. So that could be, for example, new Teams trunks, DDIs, or they could go into by numbers. The by numbers section will allow you to choose your own customers. If you're a partner, you can have multiple different customers. They may have multiple sites, so if you've got multiple sites, you can select one. Geographic ranges, non-geographics and international, we support. So if you've got requirement for, for example, ranges of Leeds numbers or Sheffield, you can simply put in how many you need, search numbers, that will present you all sorts of different options to buy and allocate them to any type of service. And we're not just restricted to Microsoft Teams direct routing. You may have, a generic SIP trunk, you may have, you may simply just want to divert it somewhere. You might just have a basic hosted VoIP service from us, which can be provisioned through our live services in Cloud Fusion. So that is very useful. For example, if you've got dumb devices within your organization, hot desk areas or conference rooms, things like that, may just need that doesn't require a Teams license with phone system. You just need something with a SIP handset. You can provision that in here, and we can still allow the routing between the two. So again, very self-sufficient, allowing you to order numbers, and then once you've ordered those numbers, you can allocate that to any type of live service, which will include Microsoft Teams. But like I said, you can also allocate it to SIP trunks and any other service. Or if you simply just want to do, for example, a number divert. Okay, a few things have just moved around, so just okay, number divert. So these, you can just click a new divert, click a new divert, choose your DDI, which you've either ported to us, you've bought one, and then select a destination. That will instantly put the divert on to where it needs to go. And that's also useful for within sort of emergency scenarios, or if you need to suddenly divert a number out of hours, you can just do that without speaking to any of the engineers internally. As a partner as well, if you want white label billing services, you can choose your own catalogs, you can choose your own pricing, you can provision your own services for customers. So for example, if we go into a customer section and we choose a customer, you can set various, you can call the services I've got. Let me just find out the billing services, invoices, here we go. So you can look at all the invoices you've got, and you can download invoices. And what we do for your customers is produce white label invoices which you can present to your customers. So this is all part of the partner portal. And again, if it's something of interest, you can speak to Chris or one of the sales guys here, and we can set you up with it, with this product. There's no extra cost for us to do this, and it's a great way of you being able to white label and sell direct routing or any type of unified communication service that we offer. But also within the partner portal, we allow you to add your own services. So if you're selling, for example, IT support, you can add that. We can produce the invoices. It'll all be on the same invoice. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to go through, Chris? Was that about it?
No, that's pretty much everything covered, if you feel you have.
Yeah, so like I say, that's just a real quick overview of some of the features that we can offer. The powerful portal that we provide for customers and for partners, for sort of diverse distribution of SBCs that we can deploy, whether that's within the Fuse2 cloud, using Azure, and putting them across the globe if you've got multiple offices dotted about. And then I guess to move on from that, obviously the call center overlay, which we've done quite a few deployments now. We've been working very closely with MIDA, who've got a very cost-effective, very powerful and feature-rich call center solution. It's very mature. They've been around for a long time. Back from the old Nortel days. So they really know, what we're doing with the call center product, which is one of the reasons why we like working with them. They're very dynamic, yeah. So I guess on with that, we'll hand over to Giovanni, who can just give you a quick overview. So Michael, if you can just get that over to.
Okay. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much, Chris and Wayne, for your presentation, and good morning or good evening, depending on where you are over the globe. So I'm taking over from Wayne to give you a couple of information about Media Solutions. As Wayne said, we are a provider of contact center and recorder applications. What you see here is a general architecture of the products and how it places into a direct routing scenario. So you see here the public network, you see here the Teams cloud and the session border controller that Chris and Wayne have been talking about in the last 20-25 minutes, and this is their domain really. This is where Fuse2 play and where they offer the excellent services to enterprises and everybody who needs this type of service actually. So we fundamentally connect to Fuse2 session border controller through a SIP trunk, and we can, as I said, have a contact center and recorder application. The contact center will provide basically all the queuing functionality, all the messaging, and a number of algorithms that can be defined for distributing calls to the agents. From an agent perspective, we have multiple choices that can be used all together or just one of them, starting from very basic ones like SIP phones, old SIP phones that can be used to picking up calls. Also, the Skype for Business agent is something that we can use, plus a number of consoles. We have a couple of them. One which we call the Media Legacy Attendant Console because it's something we have since a number of years, and also we have the, let's say, equivalent version of this console ported directly into the native Teams client. So you can use that, or your agents can use that to pick up and manage calls, as well as they can use also the native client, or let's just say the one we are all using today for this presentation. In terms of products, I've mentioned some of them. So Queue Manager is actually the core of our contact center. Attendant Console is the device we use, the application we use for picking up calls. The contact center comes with a supervisor console as well. So your supervisor will be able to have full control in real time of the contact center operations. Plus the recorder, which is an additional application whenever you have to record incoming calls or managed calls for either legal reasons or for your internal policies towards your customer. All these are Teams ready, and on top of this we have also other applications of more let's say of a legacy nature, like a fax server or a billing application, billing accounting application. So finally, trying to be within the time limits. Why choosing Media Solution? It's we can provide a contact center which is fully integrated into Teams and seamlessly interworks with the Teams deployment. It's quick to deploy. We've given a lot of attention and a lot of care during the design of our application, so that it takes really a matter of a few hours to download and deploy and configure, and in a few hours you're ready to go with the contact center. We can provide full professional and support services. We have a ticketing portal for any issue you might have. Plus, as Wayne said, we have over 15 years of experience in enterprise and critical communication solutions. We come from the old days of Nortel, of Cisco, so we know how the market works. In terms of pricing, we are very flexible. For service providers like Fuse2, we typically agree on a pay-as-you-grow or pay-per-use model, where our services are fundamentally invoiced based on the actual consumption. For normal enterprises, we can also provide a more traditional licensing, perpetual licensing. You buy it once and it's yours forever. And overall, it's an easy way to migrate from Sky for Business or other legacy solutions into the Teams environment. And let me finish just by saying, as Wayne said, we're going to have another joint presentation with Fuse2 tomorrow evening. We also have another couple of presentations on our own, both tomorrow evening and today evening. It's all for me. I hope I've been into the limits. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Giovanni. There are no questions right now. I'll leave the Q&A open if someone wants to ask a question. If you'd rather have a in-person conversation, there's a breakout room, which I've just posted into the Q&A. So they will meet you in the Q&A room here in a few minutes. We'll just leave this open for another minute to see if anyone has a question to ask. All right, doesn't look like any questions are coming in, so go ahead and head to the breakout.
Okay.
And I'm going to end the session, and thanks everyone for attending Comsverse, and thank you guys for a great presentation.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, guys.